Well, we're going to take a moment here and invite Jeff Miller to come up. Jeff Miller and his family is here, his wife Alicia and his 3 children. They live here in Bettendorf. He's been on staff with Young Life since March of 2020. And if you don't know, Young Life is a Christian ministry that reaches out to middle school, high school, and college students. And he's involved, as I said, at the Pleasant Valley Schools and Bettendorf. So let's give a warm welcome to Jeff Miller.
Thank you guys for having me so much. It has been a joy to get to see you all. Some of you don't know that I actually office out of here as well. Pastor Ed sticks me in the basement and I hang out down there for a couple hours most every day, me and my admin. So we're really thankful for what you all have done for us already outside of giving and supporting the ministry. It's been a real blessing to be a part of your church, even from the outside. You guys have been very welcoming and we've loved our time here. So Young Life is a ministry to students, like Pastor Ed said. We minister to middle school students, we minister to high school students in both schools, Pleasant Valley and Bettendorf schools, both the middle school and the high school. We are predominantly in PV high school right now and PV middle school, simply because PV has the kind of richest Young Life history. And we've taken kids to camp from there, and we've gone there, so we have some good roots there. I'm a little conflicted with that personally because my own kids go to Bettendorf, so like I kind of know people there more, and I want my kids' friends to come. So let me pivot off of that a little bit. What is Young Life? What do we do? There are 4 things we do consistently on a day in, day out basis. But let me tell you what Young Life is for before I tell you what we do. So Young Life is not necessarily for the kids that are coming to Austin's youth group. Right? He's training them, he's discipling them, he's got a great group of students. What Young Life does is Young Life wants to win the kids that are in your youth ministries friends. The kid that won't step foot in the church, the kid that won't come to the event at the church, that's for whatever reason, whether they don't have a church background or they're afraid of the church or they're afraid of whatever, maybe they've heard a story or something. But Young Life kind of tries to bridge that gap between the kids that are coming to church and their friends who won't. So we try to provide an atmosphere where they can come and get introduced to Jesus Christ. That's actually our mission statement, is introducing adolescents to Jesus Christ and helping them grow in their faith. So we want to be an intro to Jesus. And then my goal, so I was a youth pastor for years before I started doing Young Life, and my goal is to plug kids into the local church. There's a lot of people who have gone through Young Life in their high school career and really don't have a whole lot to show for it, to be honest with you. They just had a great experience, it was fun, they came, and maybe they heard about Jesus, but it didn't really change their life all that much. I really have a heart for us to plug kids in our area into local churches. You guys have the tools, you have the resources to actually do real, true, deep discipleship and teach kids theology and go deeper with their faith. Because what I'm doing is very much intro to Jesus work, just introducing them to Jesus. So we do a few things. So here's some things that you can find me doing on a daily basis. So we do contact work. So what contact work is for us is I actually literally will go up to the high school and the middle school 3 to 4 days a week and just be there. And sometimes that's awkward. I'm like old enough to be most of these kids' parents at this point. So typically when you think of Young Life, you think of younger people like Austin's age, right? Like going and doing that. I think you're pretty young, right? Okay. Yeah, perfect. So we would send like college students and things like that, and they would go to the campus. They would be there. So they're going to go to basketball games, volleyball games, track meets, cross-country meets. Wherever kids are is where we want to be. So we try to invade the kids' territory. Rather than inviting them into an event, we go where they are. So just a couple weeks ago, I found myself at the high school selling homecoming tickets just to be there. Like, how can I meet kids? How can I be in with them? What are they doing? I want to be at the school so much that kids ask me, like, who are you and what are you doing here? Like, why do I always see you? And I'm assuming they think I'm probably somebody's parent, but that's fine. I want to be in those places. So we do contact work all the time. We're always being where kids are, ballet recitals, piano concerts, whatever it is, we find ourselves there. And then what we do from there is we want to invite kids into something, but we build relationships with kids through contact work. So being with them, learning their name, learning who they are. I don't know if you've been around teenagers much, but teenagers love to hear their own name. And that's why we do that contact work. We want kids to know that they are known. All right, and then we do a club. So club is like a party with a purpose. So we'll pick a neutral site, some neutral territory. We just did one last Monday and this Friday at Forest Grove Drive Park. They have that great pavilion out there. So we met out there. We're going to meet outside as long as we can with COVID concerns and all the things that are going on today. We said, we'll just meet outside and we'll make kids comfortable, parents comfortable, and we have a blast. We do skits, we do a bunch of games. It's really loud. It's kind of controlled chaos, and it might not even be that controlled, but we do it. And we have skit characters. Like, I introduced the kids this week to my grandpa Don, who was one of my college-age leaders that came out dressed as an old man, and he read a poem, and the poem was like a current like song that you would hear on the radio, and the kids kind of like, it was pretty good, much better than what I just explained. And then we had some skit characters that were stuntmen that came from Young Life Camp, and they did some goofy things. And so just an opportunity for kids to come in for an hour, and we just kind of break down walls. We want them to feel welcomed. There's no pressure for them. We want it to be the best hour of their week. We just want them to laugh, have a good time, and be there. And in the midst of club, we do what we call a talk. So talk would be like a 5 to 8 minute intro to Jesus. So this week's talk was on creation. We wanted kids to know that God is a creator, and in fact, God has created them. And it's very easy, it's very basic. I'm not drilling down into the depths of the theological implications of God being their creator, but just telling them, God created you. Like, look at the sun, look at the moon, look at the stars. Like, God did that, and in the midst of that, he made you as well. So that was that. And then, so from club, once a kid has come like 3, 4, 5 times for us, we want to invite them into something deeper. So we have groups called campaigners, and campaigners is an opportunity for us to do kind of a small group Bible study. So it might be freshman and sophomore boys that we would gather once a week, and we'll literally just walk through one of the Gospels. We'll go through Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. We want to introduce them to Jesus more fully. So we'll do that with guys and girls. Girls will have girl leader, guys will have guy leaders, and we'll do those campaigners groups. And those are really sweet. That is where we do take some more time to actually dig into who Jesus is. We want kids to, when they leave high school, to at least have walked through one of those groups to truly meet Jesus, rather than just like coming to club and hearing about Jesus and then them going on. We want to go deeper with that. And then the last thing we do is probably one of the most fun things we do is we take kids to camp every single summer. So Young Life has camps all over the country. This year our students went to Timberwolf Lake, which is in Lake City, Michigan, and we took junior hires to Clearwater Cove in Table Rock, Missouri. And we're down there for a week and had a blast. And at camp is where we do go very deep with the gospel. So now the kids are getting a camp speaker. They're getting the gospel more fully than what we do at club. And then this summer I had the opportunity to work at a camp for a month. We saw 800 kids come through this camp in 1 month's time. So we ran 5 camps in 4 weeks, and we saw about 300 kids make decisions at that camp. And that was really phenomenal to see. And it's not rocket science what we're doing. We do contact work, we do club, we do campaigners, we do camp. It's kind of a rinse, wash, and repeat for us all the time. That's all we do. And even when we get to camp, it's kind of the same thing. We're doing contact work the whole time. We're meeting our kids. We're knowing them better. We're forming a relationship. They go to club at camp as well, and that's where they hear a message, and then they get invited into what they call cabin time there, where they'll get to go deeper in their faith with their leader as they're there. Okay, so I don't know if you know this. I have a background in ministry, so I'm probably like Pastor Ed and could just talk to you all day long. So here's the need. Here's why we're doing this. Because there are great churches in Bettendorf, right? There's great churches in Davenport. There's great churches in Rock Island and Moline as well. There's churches all over the place. Why isn't the church doing this? And I would say the church is doing this, but we're coming to partner with the church. Just in Bettendorf and PV schools alone, middle school and high school, there are 4,600 students in Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley schools. I don't know if you've met Austin, but that's a lot of relationships for Austin to have to form. 4,600 students. So we want to come in and we want to be a bridge between those kids who will never step foot in the church and the church. And we want to introduce them to Jesus there. Our best guess is there's about 500 kids here in Bettendorf that are going to church on a regular basis, which would, today's standards is probably like once a month. 4,600 kids, and about 500 of them are going to church on a monthly basis. So there's 4,100 kids right here in Bettendorf who are not hearing the gospel. And that's our heart. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because we want those 4,100 kids to hear about Jesus before they leave high school. At least hear the name. At least know that he's there. At least know that he has a plan for them and cares for them. We want them to hear that before they graduate. We believe that every kid has the right to hear the name of Jesus. They deserve it. And I think, as you know, and I know you guys are rooted in the gospel, Jesus didn't do what he did on the cross for us not to go out and tell people about it. So we're going and bridging that gap for 4,100 kids right here in our neighborhood. So we're so thankful for you guys' support. We love being a part of Pleasant View. I'll be out at the table in the foyer after this. We can chat more. I'd love to get you involved more. I need leaders, I need homes, I need places for kids to go and people for kids to be with. So I'd love to chat with you more about that after the service. Okay? Thank you very much for your time.